We switch to a mentality, a system that's called Housing First. And what Housing First does that's different from what we've done before is say, let's get you into housing, and then when you've had a safe, stable night's sleep and feel like you're kind of getting your grounding again, then we'll reach out to you with these supportive services that are standing right by you. If you want to work on your drug problem, or if you have, need to get you to a different health care provider than what you've been doing. So it is a flip. Just as the mayor said, the shelter is to be that no longer than 30 days, because what we want you to be is in permanent supportive housing, where you've got the support system when you're ready to address those issues.
And name and title.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, Mariyn Brown, President and CEO of the Coalition for the Homeless. Thank you.
I got another number of other questions. Did you have a?
If I could just follow up on the question from earlier. When this initiative was launched, there was a discussion that we need to build more units.
We are.
And we needed to bring forward more services that needed to ramp up significantly to support all these units. Where do we stand in each of those categories?
We are building more units. We have more units in the pipeline. We have a better coordination of services, and just being more efficient with the services has made a tremendous difference. But we're also trying to find more ways to use the services. And even things like the creation of our sobering center, a lot of the folks who go through the sobering center are homeless. Someone gives somebody money on the street corner, they go buy alcohol, they get drunk, they pass out on the street corner. We were creating an unintended problem by criminalizing that behavior, taking them to jail, then they end up with a jail record. And so a lot of things that we didn't intend the sobering center to help us with homelessness, but it gives us another, it assists over there, and that's one other place where they have an opportunity for intervention. If you wanted to add.
Yeah. To speak specifically to the plan around increasing services. So we've been working with the City Health and Human Service Department, and they secured funding to contract with 2 new providers that are creating a much more robust package of supportive services. And we are now deploying those providers connected to the new units that we're creating to create that new robust package. So as outlined in the plan, we're moving forward with all 3 kind of strategies that we outlined. We are increasing the number of units. We've created new, robust, integrated social services that connect to these units, and we've created the coordinated placement system that ensures the right individual ends up in these very intensive intervention.
Are we sort of stuck at halftime here, where we've made it more efficient? We filled the units we have, now we need to wait to build some?
Stuck at halftime? No, we're excited we're at halftime. we've made huge progress. But clearly, we've aggressively put units on the ground, and part of the problem is we do need more units, but we're not talking about thousands and thousands of units. We're talking about maybe another 1,000 units.
I didn't mean to cast it negatively. Are we?
Go ahead.
Are we? Yeah, right. It's our job. So, are we waiting on more units to come on, or no? We have plenty. We're not waiting on.
No, we're waiting for more units. We are maximizing the use of the units we have. We have other units in the pipeline, and we're going to continue to try to, because the city of Houston is going to grow too.
Yeah, so up until very recently, we've been just having to use existing stock, and there's been a small number of new units coming online. But starting this month, actually, about 400 new units are coming online between now and the end of the year. And so that was part of why it was so important to get the coordinated placement system in place. And we targeted the Beacon first because we want to, that's where some of the most vulnerable and chronically homeless individuals are. So we want to dedicate these 400 units to the population that regularly visits the Beacon, so that we can begin to reduce the volume of those individuals downtown. But what's exciting is that these first 400 are the beginning of a very steady flow of units all the way through 2015 and likely a bit into 2016 as well, as far as some of those new units coming online. So I would say that we're past halfway, that we're really, that this is a very dynamic process, and we're really getting to where things are moving very, very rapidly, and we hope that we will begin to feel and much more of an impact downtown. The data will reflect an actual feeling. When we go and we talk to our service providers, when you look at the numbers of individuals seeking services at the Beacon, the data is consistent across the board with what we've presented here. We're seeing fewer and fewer people seeking services in those locations. So we hope that 2014 is the year where we start to feel that.
What's the roundabout?
Where are these units going, man? What
Across the
neighborhoods?
city.
And is there any pushback from the neighborhoods for putting these units up in their neighborhoods?
Across the city, and I will say that how much I sincerely appreciate the work of the Houston Housing Authority, and actually Harris County Housing Authority, which is working closely with Houston Housing Authority to, they made some of their beds available to us early on. In fact, the Housing Authority has a proposal out in District G, so it's all across the city of Houston. To volunteer at the Beacon, 713-220-9769, 713-220-9769, and I will, 69 is, that is a 9, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Marilyn and Mandy and Mark Eichenbaum, I had to beef up my staff. Mandy was the one-person shop, sort of now she has Mark, so they have probably quadrupled between the two of them their energy, the amount of work that they've been able to do. So they'll be happy to answer any follow-up questions. I know there are other things that on your mind, so what else is happening?
I mean, I have to commend you on this program because I've been arguing about the homeless and dealing with Harris County on their homeless, and the city of Houston seems to have been moving the bar and the standard of how this is going to be handled tremendously, and I congratulate you on that.
Thank you.
Mayor, chapter 9, Councilmember Green talked about putting some amendments forward to that next week. I know that's not typically the process in the infrastructure design manual, but
It's not going to happen. We're not bringing chapter 9 to council. It's not going to have a council vote or anything, and it's not intended to amend it. There were some questions. We all understand, the engineers all understand what they want to have happen, but for a layman, we wanted to make sure that everybody understood, and so they're going to clarify the language. And that's just an administrative fix, and we're moving rapidly on that.
Two other concerns that were brought up. One from the neighborhood side that there weren't significant enough changes to require more detention than we have today. And then one from the builder side that even the changes proposed now could result in little detention troughs on every single family lot. What are your
Okay, so the answer to that is that we're not here to make everybody happy. And the fact that the neighborhoods are okay but not happy, and the builders are okay but not happy, tells me we're somewhere in that sweet spot. We have substantially increased the amount of open space that has to be left on a lot, and we have provided more options for the builders to do that open space. One of the things that the neighborhoods asked for was they wanted, and the builders as well, to be able to offer a fee in lieu of on-site detention. I was a little shocked that came from the neighborhoods, because I would have thought that they really wanted, I know they wanted an even greater increase in the amount of green space left on an individual lot, which has an impact on the ability to redevelop inner city Houston. But we came to an agreement between the two sides, and the answer from an engineering standpoint, we will do a fee in lieu of detention, but only in those areas where we actually have capacity. We're not going to take a fee from somebody and then not provide detention. And so I think we have a workable go forward.
Because of that, there was a discussion that many single-family lots that redevelop will have small detention ponds or ditches somewhere on the property. We've talked before about how homeowners often fill that in for parking. Are you concerned that the city will make this rule change intending to prevent future flooding, and then homeowners will just fill it all in with gravel and we won't be able to enforce it?
Of course, and so that takes me back to another issue. We've been intending for some time to really show council members the reality in neighborhoods where property owners, either through ignorance of the law and our policies or deliberate intent, do things after the permits are done and they're in their home, that has a negative impact in the neighborhood. It's not just detention. It's although that's a significant problem where they fill in swales, they block culverts, but they also do things like building in the right of way, or putting up bootleg no parking signs just because they don't want someone parking beside their house, those sorts of things. And so we have picked, I think, 3 neighborhoods, maybe more neighborhoods, and we're going to go through with the Department of Neighborhoods and note every violation of policy. Come back to council and say, with a proposal, if we want to cite these people, this is how much. If we want to be aggressive about our codes, this is what it would take to do it, and provide a range of options to council members, and allow them to look at, well, maybe we want to be aggressive about blocking drainage or culverts, that sort of thing, but not so much about is the fence built into the in the city's right of way. But these are all policy decisions that the council are going to decide, and it's going to result in some angry citizens.
Mhm.